24 minutes before 11 o'clock, it's time to hear about the law. If you have a question about a legal circumstance that you or somebody you care about might be in, and you would like to ask Vanessa Lane Jennings a question, this is a good time to call. The number is 622-9622. Vanessa Lane Jennings is the founder of the Jennings Law Firm right here in Ocala. And if you'd like to speak to Vanessa in person at her office, let me give you some information. The contact number is 804-0092, and the address is 2945 Northeast 3rd Street on the second floor here in Ocala. Call us if you need that repeated, but call right now on the air if you'd like to ask a question on the air. We all benefit from the answers that you get. And one quick note that when you have a legal question, it usually is more complicated than we might expect. So call as early as possible. That's my suggestion. 622-9622. Vanessa on the phone today, but I do have her pretty face on the video that was streaming. So good morning, Vanessa. How are you?
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Robin. I'm well. How are you all?
Good. Are you in Ocala?
I am. My appointment ran over, so I wasn't going to make it from my office to the studio on time.
Oh, okay. I was kind of hoping for your sake that you were on a nice vacation in the Bahamas or something like that.
That would be very nice. Nope, that is not the case.
Do you have any thoughts on any of the legal things that you've seen in the news this week?
Well, I was in trial, so I saw not a lot in the news.
Oh, you don't have a lot.
So is there specifically one you wanted to talk about?
Well, I mean, I know you're involved in, you were involved in political campaigns, etc. When somebody gets arrested, well, in this case, the guy got killed, didn't he? The guy who was shooting at the baseball, yeah, he got killed. I mean, how do you defend somebody like that? Is there a way to defend somebody like that? Not that I would want to. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes if he came to me to be defended. In this case, he can't be because he's dead, but he's got to have a lawyer at St. Peter's Gate, I guess.
Well, I mean, historically, I do believe that most of the shooters who've shot high-profile people ended up taking and were caught. Were normally taking some type of plea right from the get-go and don't take it to trial. But there's, depending on what state you live in, or if it's federal, there's always chances that you can do insanity pleas to try to, lower your chances of losing at trial when everyone knows what you did. Because it makes it hard when you're the defense attorney and everybody knows every aspect of the case. But it does, and you can't say he didn't do it, it was somebody else, because the facts are the person did it, especially if there's multiple witnesses, it's something that's highly publicized. But normally what will happen is you would take any of the mental illness issues, or you would take any issue, like other circumstances that would go around it, and use it to mitigate the offer so you can get a better plea deal for your client.
Well, there's a couple of news stories this week. There was the, I don't know if you call it a hung jury in the Bill Cosby story. There was the guy yesterday who, I guess, held a gun on the two escaped criminals from Georgia. Yes. There was another guy who pulled his van in front of a car that police were chasing and crashed into it on purpose so they could the police could get the bad guy. I mean, all those things are amazing as far as what's happening in the news, but I was wondering how, from a legal perspective, you handle, like, for example, let's talk about the guy who held the gun onto the two bad guys in Georgia waiting for the police to get there. I mean, if he had shot them, what kind of circumstances would he be facing?
Well, it depends on what Georgia law is when it comes to citizen's arrest. So I'm going to say I don't know what that is. But let's presume that they're not allowed to shoot them. So they can still get in trouble for escalating the situation by using a handgun to stop them. Now, in Florida, and it was actually in Ocala, but it made national news. Remember when we had the internet cafe situation where the old man stood up with a gun to try to stop the person who came in. And he didn't get in trouble because the way our laws are written in Florida, he was trying to stop the crime of progress. He did not escalate the situation because it was a gun with a gun. And at that point in time, the prosecutor would never have gone after him for that, because he was effectually trying to do a citizen's arrest.
Really?
So if Georgia has the same type of laws, then that's what would end up happening there. But if they don't, it would just depend on what Georgia's laws are.
There's a guy down in the Market of Marion, I think, and he sells pepper spray. And he says it's a quart, 1 quart of pepper spray. It's like very, very high potency pepper spray. And he says, you spray this. Let's say he says, if somebody, this is what he says on the video, if somebody is trying to stop you from driving, let's say there's a protest and there's people in front of your car and you can't get past them, you don't want to shoot them with a gun. You shoot them with this spray. He says it's perfectly legal. Is that right? Are you legally allowed to shoot somebody with pepper spray that's blocking your car?
Yes, pepper spray is allowed for self-defense in the state of Florida, but that is really the only time the lawful time you're supposed to use pepper spray in Florida. You can't use it for anything else. So you can't get mad at someone and pepper spray them, but you can't. But if someone's attacking you, you may spray them.
Is stopping your car and preventing you from moving forward, is that considered attacking you?
I mean, it depends what the situation is, and that would be up for the lawyer to make a good defense. I mean, potentially it could be. I mean, if it was putting the person in peril, like if the person blocking them, they couldn't get to where they were going.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true too, yeah.
Larry had a news story this morning that there was a city of employee, there was a woman employed by the city of Gainesville. They have fired her now, but she stole $93,000. And she bought personal items for her home, things like that. Also got a butt lift, by the way. And now they took her to court, and she pled not guilty. How can you plead? How do you handle that as a defense attorney when all the evidence is against you?
You always plead not guilty.
Oh, why is that?
Well, I mean, the main reason is all the facts aren't in yet. Whether we know them as the outside world, all the facts aren't into the defense attorney. The defense attorney doesn't know everything. The state doesn't know anything. And they have evidence against her. And while that might be true, that doesn't mean that all of the facts are in. All the facts, you know what I mean? So you want to know what they are before you agree to anything. Whether you plead, because if you plead guilty, you're done right then and there. You can't go forward. There are no defenses. You can't do anything. You stop your case. The case is stopped. And you have to take a plea right then and there, and you don't even know what that's going to be. So that doesn't make sense.
So you'll be sentenced right away then? I mean, you plead guilty, say, yes, I did it, and then all of a sudden the judge gives you a sentence?
Well, I mean, right, the state's going to offer what they believe the sentence should be. I mean, so a lot of things are going to happen in a very short order if you just say, yes, I'm guilty. They could post sentencing off for a later date, but you can't really throw in any facts. Let's say there was somebody else who was involved with her. We don't know that. If there was another party, not saying that person's culpability should necessarily negate what she did, but if it could, she essentially could rat the other person out. So 2 people would be responsible for it, and because of that, she gets a lesser sentence.
Oh.
Vanessa Lane Jennings is on the phone, and you can speak to her on your phone if you want to call right now. The number is 622-9622. Vanessa is not in the studio, but she'll be able to hear you through the little button that I push right here, I hope. There was a question actually about forming an LLC. Can you address that question? Is it hard? Is it expensive?
It is not hard or expensive. You go to sunbiz.org. And there is they've changed the site, so I can't tell you exactly where the button is now, but you go onto the site and there is online forms you can pick for starting an LLC. You would click that button, fill out all the questions, and submit it, and the entire process will cost you less than $200.
And what's the website again?
Sunbiz.org.
Sunbiz, S-U-N-B-I-Z?
Yeah.
Okay, sunbiz.org. Phone lines are open. We are up against the break, so let's take that break. Vanessa Lane Jennings, again, is on the phone. Her office is at 2945 Northeast 3rd Street on the 2nd floor, and her number at her office is 352-804-0092. If you'd like to call on the air, though, call right now, 622-9622. We'll be right back with Vanessa.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Fair amount of clouds with thunderstorms around during the afternoon hours, a high of 84 to 86. Thunder showers will die out this evening, then clouds tonight with a low of 70 to 73. Partly sunny tomorrow with a thunderstorm in the afternoon, a high of 87 to 89. Mostly afternoon thunderstorms for Sunday with some sun and highs of 87 to 90. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Maggie Johnson.
Pay your taxes, eat your vegetables, watch your weight, mow the lawn, clean the house. We all have stuff we don't want to do. Isn't it about time you did something you wanted to do? Like getting your pilot's license?
At Ocala Aviation, they make it fun and easy, and you can start by taking one of their Discovery flights. For only $99, you get to go up in the airplane with an FAA-certified flight instructor and actually fly the plane yourself. It's a perfect way to see if flying is for you. And once you get that ultimate feeling of freedom, Ocala Aviation can train you to get your pilot's license. Ocala Aviation also offers commercial flight training for those looking to make a career change and enter the world of commercial aviation. Ocala Aviation is conveniently located at the Ocala International Airport. So if you're ready to start your adventure, stop by or give them a call today. 861-7484. That's 861-7484. You'll be glad you did. I know I am. Ocala Aviation.
Call today, 861-7484.
Did you call Mike Scott Plumbing about the irrigation?
No, but did you know a crocodile can't stick its tongue out? Or that Humpty Dumpty Rhyme never actually says he's an egg? Or that Chuck Norris counted to infinity? Twice.
Where the hell do you come up with these facts? And what's that have to do with the lawn?
Nothing really, just hoping you forget what you told me to do.
Well, here's a fact. Just like an elephant, I never forget. And here's another fun fact for you. If my plants die because you didn't call Mike Scott Plumbing to come over and install an irrigation system, you're going to be the one out there all night with a hose.
Well, as a matter of fact, I think I'll call Mike Scott Plumbing right now.
Now that's a fact.
237-2888.
Yes, 237-2888. Because if...
I know. If water runs through it, they do it. Did you know honeybees have 5 eyes?
Oh, brother, you're going to do this all night now, aren't
Or
you?
that a strawberry is not actually a berry, but a banana is? Or that Chuck Norris killed 2 stones with 1 bird? Or that polar bears are left-handed?
I'm Jennifer McCullough, the Executive Director of Palm Garden. This is National CNA Week, and I want to personally express my heartfelt gratitude to all our certified nursing assistants for the hard work and care they give to our residents. I have always felt that Palm Garden CNAs are ladies and gentlemen caring for ladies and gentlemen. Our CNAs work round the clock to ensure the best of care, and I am so proud of our marvelous staff. Happy CNA Week from Palm Garden of Ocala.
All right, 11 minutes before 11 o'clock, 80 degrees. Looks like there's a chance of rain today. Temperatures climbing to 82 degrees. The chance of rain is 58, and looks like it'll be sometime afternoon. So another June day with an afternoon rain shower. Vanessa Lane Jennings is on the phone, and your phone calls are invited. The number is 622-9622 if you'd like to ask Vanessa a legal question. Vanessa, there was one that came up a few times this week, actually, that we kind of put on the back burner until you were on the air with us. You ready for it?
Oh my, yes.
What do you think it is? We'll just see if you can figure it
I
out.
have no clue.
The car that went into the sinkhole outside of Checkers. A lot of people had question about who do you sue if you're the car owner? Who do you sue if you're Checkers? And do you even sue anybody? What do you do? It looked like the city was telling the owners of Checkers that they have to hire an engineer or something to see what went wrong. Other people are saying the city's the one who made the mistake. So I don't know. There might be some law suits going on up in the upper stratosphere of our local government, it looks like.
Right, because that would fall. It depends on what angle you want me to take it from first. Because if I am the city, I am going to be screaming force majeure, which is the fancy legal way of saying act of God, force of nature. There is no way we can predict that because Ocala has a lot of clay.
Yeah.
And they can't sometimes you don't even know what the effects are going to be until later. So they could argue there's no way we would even have known that, so we did nothing wrong. But the reason that the checkers and the owner of the land would theoretically at that point in time want to go and figure out through doing an investigation what went wrong is, was there negligence done? Should the city have done something better? Should the city have taken more steps? What were those steps? And could they have reasonably known that this is something that was likely to happen? So that's what hiring an outside firm, an engineering firm, would actually do for them, is to figure out what went wrong. Because if no negligence occurred, or if nothing occurred and this was just a freak accident, accidents do happen. But on the flip side, or conversely, if something did go wrong and the city should have done something and they didn't do something, that's when lawsuits come in.
So without actually having the assignment, from your perspective, you have to, in order to do the radio show, in other words, you have to kind of look at it as, what if I'm the one representing the city? What if I'm the one representing the car owner or the checkers or even the shopping plaza there? I don't know if that's part of it or not. But you, as just to answer the question from the radio host point of view, you sort of have to look at it as if you were two different attorneys, don't you?
Well, you could be the same attorney theoretically, but you just have to look at it from both angles. Because you have to do that no matter what, if you take a case. If someone walks in, if Checkers walks in and they want me to sue, I have to look at it from what is the city going to say? And I have to look at it, what is the shopping plaza going to say? And what does Checkers want me to say? You have to look at all angles of the case at all points in time. So, but to answer a question about it, like what happens, you normally have to look at it from two different perspectives, because it really will change how you answer once you look at the whole picture holistically.
But then do you think the Checkers attorneys will not look at their parking area as an isolated case, since there was another sinkhole that developed by the Goodwill, and then they had all of that flooding by the Earth Fare store? Don't you think that maybe they will look at the city, because maybe the city was at fault because they didn't do a good job on the drainage, since all three incidents happened within a very close proximity of each other?
Well, that's part of the investigation that's going to have to go on. And they're going to have to see, are they tied together? Is it just a coincidence? I'm not saying it is, but is it just a coincidence that this happened in this one area? Or is this something part of a larger systemic problem, and the city didn't attack it, and the city should have known? And did the city know? And so all of those are things that will go into a period of investigation to figure out exactly what's going on and who you're suing and why and for how much.
Does somebody who gets sued as much as Donald Trump even care anymore? I mean, it seems like every time I turn around, there's another lawsuit against him.
I don't think he cares. I think that's par for the course of being Donald Trump.
Uh-huh.
I think that Donald Trump expects to get sued on a daily basis.
My goodness. Oh, my God.
And do regular people, is that their only recourse now to get something done if something bad has happened to them, to sue somebody? Or is there another form of retaliation that they can take?
Well, I mean, so something happens to you. It depends on what happened. If something like, let's say that someone damages your property, like your car. Someone takes a baseball bat and hits your car. So you have damage. Without actually having to sue them, you can theoretically go and ask them to fix it. They say no. You could hire a lawyer to write a demand letter that they do it, and start low level without doing a lawsuit at all. Otherwise, suing them is normally you fix the car and then you have a bill for what it was fixed for, and then you sue them for the damages.
Oh, okay.
Vanessa,
now, go ahead.
No, you finish. I just was going to tell you have a phone call, so whenever you take a breath, I'll go to the call.
Okay, so the only other option is there's also arbitration, which is more of a mediation process. It's still legal, it's quasi-legal, but it's binding. So that's your other option, but that can get expensive and tedious at times.
All right, we do have a phone call. Thank you for waiting. You're on the air with Vanessa Lane Jennings.
Good morning, Vanessa. This is Paula. I had two bits to put in about the sinkholes that happened. Could this go all the way back to when Walmart filled all those aquifers in that area with cement so that they could build their store? And because of the shifting and the lack of rain, could that have caused it?
Wow.
Ms. Paula, absolutely. That's a lot of the issues when it comes to building in this area in particular, is because if it doesn't rain for a while and there is clay, that the land can sink. And they can try to fix it beforehand and try to anticipate it, but if they don't do it correctly, then that'll cause the massive sinkholes that we saw. And that's one of the reasons that checkers or the landowners or whomever would really want to hire the scientific investigator or engineers to come in to figure out exactly what went wrong, so they know exactly what the city should have done, because the city should have done the same pre-planning, and we're basically doing what the city should have done in reverse. So does that answer your question, Paula?
Yes, it does. But I know that when we built our home, we were sitting in a giant clay patch, and we had to find areas. We had to have the land board to find out where there wasn't clay to try to build the house so that it would be more stable. Because I don't want to build on clay that's going to expand and contract and make that big mess.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, Vanessa?
No, absolutely. That's part of, I'm going to say, what the city's due diligence should have been, was whether or not there was clay in the area, and to figure that out, because that's normally what is done. You have to remove all the clay and put in new ground, so there is no sinkhole issue. And that's why you would hire the engineers and do all the back due diligence, is to kind of figure out what steps the city should have took, what they didn't do, and if they are liable.
Thank you,
okay,
Paula.
Well, keep up the good work and have a great day.
Thank you, Paula. I apologize I apologize for some of that. I have to ride the thing here a little bit, otherwise you'll get a bunch of feedback. So from a legal perspective, it sounds like first of all, it sounds like you're amazing how much you know about every little subject in the world. But in the event that you have to convince a jury of that, what you know, what do? You bring in what they call an expert witness?
Oh, there would probably have to be several expert witnesses for this case. If there even is a case. I always say that because I have no idea whether the city is liable or they're not liable. But that's one of the things that they would have to do, is they would bring in their engineers, and it would probably come down to a battle between expert witnesses in this case, because the city's going to have their own expert witnesses, which are going to say, no, we did everything feasibly possible so the situation didn't arise. And then the other expert witnesses can say, absolutely not. They took shortcuts, or they skipped steps, or they never even did the investigation to begin with. They just went ahead and created the roadway.
And real quickly, we've got like 40 seconds. What about the driver and the insurance company? Is that a no-brainer? If they have the insurance, then they're covered?
Well, at that point in time, yes. So their insurance company at that point in time is going to try to go after any and everyone who is liable on their end, because the insurance company is going to try to recoup. But the driver is definitely going to get taken care of.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's good. I heard they got out of the car before it actually fell in. I heard that they were feeling the movement. Vanessa, thank you. Be careful out there. Have a great Father's Day weekend.
Thank you. You as well, Larry. Bye, Robin.
All right. This is WOCA Ocala. We'll be right back.
The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. A new development in the Russia probe as President Trump continues to slam it as a witch hunt.
The president tweeting, I am being investigated for firing the FBI director by the man who told me to fire the FBI director. Witch hunt. The president apparently referring to